Have you ever felt like everything around you is falling apart and your mind turns into a battlefield? The traffic, the arguments, the unexpected problems, and there you are, reacting without thinking, wasting energy and losing control. But listen to this. It's not the storm that decides your fate, it's how you choose to move within it. If you don't take the reins of your mind, someone or something else will. And believe me, you won't like it. The world doesn't stop. Everything can change in a second. An unexpected call, bad news, a problem you never saw coming. And when everything shakes, that's when it shows what you're really made of. It's not luck or brute strength that keeps you standing, but your ability to stay calm when everything is falling apart. Stoicism doesn't promise you a life without problems, but it does teach you something better: how to build an inner fortress so solid that no storm can tear it down. In this video, you're going to discover 12 Stoic lessons that can transform your mindset and give you a peace that nothing and no one will ever take from you. If you put into practice what you're about to hear, you'll stop being dragged by chaos and start being the master of your mind and your destiny. So, my friend, get ready, because what you're going to learn here will change the way you face every single day of your life. Ready? Let's go. But first, I'm going to tell you something you won't forget. The night was filled with sirens and smoke. The fire had started in the building next door, but it spread so fast it reached the block where Laura lived. In the middle of screams and chaos, she managed to get out into the street with only what she was wearing. She only had time to grab her phone and her keys. The rest was reduced to ashes. As she watched the flames devour everything she knew, she felt as if her whole world was burning along with her belongings. Photos, memories, her work computer, even the letter her mother had left her before she died, all gone in a matter of minutes. That night, she slept in her car. It was raining, and the sound of raindrops hitting the windshield was the only thing breaking the silence. She cried. She felt anger, and she asked herself, now what? How do you move on when you lose everything? Days went by and Laura found no answers. She hid away in cafes to connect to Wi-Fi, tried to appear normal, but inside she felt a black hole. Until one day, while searching through saved files on her phone, she came across a screenshot of a phrase her grandfather always repeated: "What matters is not what happens, but how you react to it." She looked it up and discovered it came from Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who had been a slave and yet taught how to be free on the inside. She read more about him and about Marcus Aurelius, about how they faced situations infinitely worse without losing their calm. And there, in the middle of her pain, something new began to grow. A calm she had never felt before. Laura stopped lamenting over what she had lost and began focusing on what she could control: her mind, her attitude, her next step. She used her savings to rent a small studio. No furniture, no decorations, just a mattress and a makeshift desk. But every morning she told herself, "It's not things that give me value. I'm the one who gives value to my life." Little by little, she rebuilt not only her home but also her mindset. She learned to live light, without depending on what could be taken away. And that experience, which at first seemed like a curse, became the spark that led her to launch her own online business. Today, she shares her story in talks, and when people ask her how she did it, she answers with a calm smile. "I understood it the night I lost everything." Your mindset is everything. Stay calm and have confidence in yourself. You know what's the best part of this story? It's not about the fire. It's about how a trained mind can rise even from the ashes. Laura didn't become strong because she had no fear, but because she embraced it and decided not to let it defeat her. That is the power of Stoicism. That is the calm and confidence I want you to discover today. Now tell me, how long has it felt like chaos is winning the game against you? I'm not talking about normal, everyday stress. I'm talking about that feeling that you've lost control, that anything can set you off, that your confidence shakes at the slightest thing. If this question strikes a chord with you, Subscribe and become an exclusive member to keep strengthening your mind and building a calm no one can break. And share it in the comments. What's the thing that's stealing your peace the most lately? Or simply write, Stoic at heart. Today I take the first step to regain control of my life. 1. Are you still trying to control what you can't? My friend, let me describe something and tell me if it sounds familiar. You've got your day planned down to the last detail. Your outfit's ready, your to-do list set, even the podcast you're going to listen to on your way to work. Everything under control. But all it takes is for the subway to run 3 minutes late or a coffee to spill on your shirt, and you change completely. Your body tenses, your mind fills with silent curses, and in your head your whole day is already ruined. Have you noticed how much we try to control? Not only what we do, but also how people talk to us, how things should turn out, even how others should feel. We want everything so under control that we forget to breathe when something goes off script. Picture this. You're sitting at a cafe terrace, coffee in hand, the sun on your face, perfect temperature. But just when you're about to get up and head to the beach, the sky clouds over and it starts to rain. Not a soft romantic drizzle, no. A downpour that destroys umbrellas and leaves your flip-flops floating. You get angry, of course. You think, why right now? But don't you see? You're already in control freak mode. It's like wanting to command the wind that moves the palm trees. Can you imagine someone trying to give orders to the wind? It's ridiculous. Yet we do it every day. I've done it too, I won't lie. I once organized a boat trip with friends. I had everything ready. The route, the food, even a sailor-themed playlist on my phone. But the sea that day was rough. Very rough. I started calling the company, asking if they could postpone it, move it, change the location. I spent the whole afternoon insisting, while the sky stayed gray and the water impossible. In the end, they canceled. Tired of fighting what I couldn't control, I improvised a picnic on the beach instead. Nothing like the original plan, but you know what? It turned out to be one of the best moments of that summer. That's when I understood something Epictetus repeated over and over. It wasn't the events that had me frustrated, it was my interpretation of them. That obsession with wanting things to go my way. He said, it's not things that disturb us, but the opinions we have about things. He lived this truth daily. Born a slave, and still he taught that true freedom isn't in your circumstances, but in your mind. Epictetus practiced every day what you and I need more than ever. The ability to let go of what you can't control and choose how you respond. And it's not just ancient philosophy. Neuroscientist Maya Shankar explains it clearly. The secret isn't avoiding change, but adapting to it quickly. She had to rebuild her life after an injury ended her career as a professional violinist. What she proposes is developing cognitive adaptation, meaning training your mind to stay flexible so it doesn't break every time reality doesn't match your plans. Because, spoiler, it almost never does. And this isn't just for big tragedies or waiting until you're injured like she was. You can practice it in everyday life. For example, you plan to work out at 7, but the subway never comes. Traffic swallows your time, or you suddenly have to take care of someone. What do? You can spend the whole day cursing and feeling like a victim. Or you can run around your neighborhood or do a quick routine in your living room. You keep the rhythm. You keep your center. That's the real muscle we want to train here. Keeping calm and confident so that nothing and no one can shake your mind. So tell me, are you ready to stop wasting energy on what you can't change and redirect it toward what does depend on you? First, try this. Once a week, write 2 columns. In one, what you can control. In the other, what you can't. For example, you can control your attitude, your diet, your rest, your effort. You can't control the weather, last-minute changes, or other people's decisions. That clarity changes everything. Second, when you start to feel frustration, pause. Breathe deeply, literally, and quietly remind yourself, it's not the event, it's my judgment. Use that phrase from Epictetus as an anchor. Third, always have a backup plan ready. Did plan A fall through? Don't slip into victim mode. Rearrange, act. Choose one action that does depend on you and keep moving. Because in the end, what separates the person who sinks in chaos from the one who stands firm is that ability to let go of the uncontrollable without losing direction. If you can't control the sea, why not learn to navigate it? Sometimes it's not about changing what happens, but about changing how you face it. Because, my friend, your mindset is everything. 2. Calm, the superpower no one uses. Has it ever happened that someone cuts you off in traffic and suddenly your whole body lights up as if they'd insulted you in public? Or someone sends you a message on WhatsApp and you instantly imagine the worst tone possible, complete with facial expression? And at home, someone leaves a towel out of place and suddenly you act like it's a personal offense. You know it. And the worst part is you realize it right after, when it's too late and you think, why did I react like that? The answer is simple, though not easy to accept, because your mindset still isn't strong enough, because you haven't learned to protect your calm as the most valuable thing you have. Now, listen to me. Did you know calm is like that free Wi-Fi you see everywhere but never connect to? It's there, ready to use, but you always choose the mobile data of drama, instant reactions, raised voices, and overwhelm. And all of that wears you down. Every time you lose your temper, you don't just lose energy, you also lose a little bit of your confidence. Because yes, keeping calm and trusting yourself is what allows you to face anything without letting it shake you. My friend, don't get it twisted. Calm is not the absence of emotion. It's knowing how to be in the middle of chaos without letting the chaos get inside you. It's like that worm curled up at the center of an apple. You can't see it from the outside, nobody notices it, but it's there, right at the core. Still, steady, centered. It doesn't draw attention, but it has everything under control. That's what calm is like. It goes unnoticed, but it's what holds everything together on the inside. Marcus Aurelius lived surrounded by wars, political betrayals, illness, and yet he found time to write lines like this: "Inner tranquility is a refuge in the midst of any storm." He couldn't stop the storms outside, but he built a place within himself where no one else had access. When everyone else was shouting, he thought. When everyone despaired, he wrote. And when everything seemed to collapse, he kept his gaze steady, because he understood that true power isn't in reacting fast, but in responding with serenity. That was his strength, and it can be yours too. Now picture this. You're in an online meeting and suddenly someone raises their voice. They interrupt you, contradict you, maybe even point at you with sarcasm. Your first impulse is to defend yourself, raise your tone, justify yourself, but you don't. Instead, you breathe. You lower your gaze slightly, connect with yourself, and answer with a short, clear, calm sentence. You're not giving in. You're leading. The other person stops, hesitates, maybe even lowers their tone. Because you've done something that disarms them. You didn't play their game. And that, in truth, is keeping control. That's when it shows that your mindset is firmly grounded. That's when it's clear that no matter what happens, you lose neither your calm nor your confidence. My friend, next time you feel your chest pounding like a drum, try this. Close your eyes for 30 seconds and breathe with intention, not to escape the moment, but to prepare your mind. Then, I challenge you to listen to a couple of minutes of calming music. Do you know Chad Lawson? I recommend his podcast, Calm It Down. In just 15 minutes, he blends soft music with simple breathing and mindfulness techniques. It's like hitting a reset button for your day. And if you're in the middle of a conversation or can't put your headphones on, do something even simpler. Repeat this phrase to yourself, like a pocket mantra. Calm first, reaction after. And no, this isn't about looking like a statue or hiding what you feel. It's about choosing with intention. From now on, calm will be your silent superpower. Because when you can stay steady on the inside, you trust yourself more, and nothing and no one can shake you. And that, without a doubt, is living with strength. 3. Don't let an emotion ruin your life. It's late. The clock says past 11, but you're still in front of the computer. Tired? In a bad mood. You know you should have finished hours ago, but a last-minute urgent task came up. Your partner calls from the other room telling you that's enough to close the laptop and pay attention to them. but you can't, or rather, you don't want to. You're frustrated because the computer is slow, the programs won't load, and everything seems to be against you right when you're in the biggest rush. You try to do everything at once, read, edit, send, and you do, with a mistake, a serious one, the kind that could earn you a big scolding, or worse. Then comes the emptiness, the anger, the why did I react like that, and it's not the first time. It's happened before. A bad look, a misplaced word, a click made without thinking. And the funny thing is, it's not the problem that ruins your day, it's your reaction to the problem. That emotion that shows up suddenly and takes the wheel, while you're just there, a passenger in your own head. Seneca wrote about this a lot in On Anger. He believed anger was the most destructive of impulses, that it appears quickly, disguised as justice, but then destroys everything. And the worst part is, it never comes alone. It always drags something with it. A bad decision, a broken relationship, a lost opportunity. That's why he insisted on stopping it the moment it starts to show. He wrote something that will stay with you for a while. No test of greatness is more reliable than to remain in a state where nothing can disturb you. And the more you think about it, the more sense it makes. Do you think he meant being made of stone? Of course not. Even if it doesn't seem like it, the Stoics were human too, with feelings. What he meant was that nothing, no matter how strong, should be able to knock you off your center. Because feeling anger, sadness, fear, that's normal, yes. But letting those emotions decide for you, that's something you can avoid. So my friend, next time you feel anger starting to take over, how will you take back control before it wrecks your day? Let's go back to that opening scene. You're there, in front of the computer, the screen frozen, the clock ticking, your partner calling from the hallway telling you it's time to stop. Anger starts to rise in your chest, you start to sweat, every sound irritates you. Every second feels like a provocation. Your blood boils. You want to yell, slam the laptop shut, blurt out anything. But right there, right at that moment when it feels unstoppable, you have a choice. As psychologist Jordan B. Peterson says, you're not obligated to act like that inner child who loses control when things don't go their way. You can be the adult who sets limits, who breathes, who observes before reacting. Because no, you don't always have to act in the heat of the moment. In fact, the wisest, and also the bravest thing is often to do nothing. For now. First, identify which emotion is speaking to you. Because yes, emotions speak, and if you don't recognize them, they'll just keep shouting louder. Name it. Say quietly, this is anger, or this is frustration, or this is fear. By naming it, you give it shape. And when something has shape, it stops being so scary. You start to see it for what it is, a temporary reaction, not a sentence, not an order, just an emotion that will pass. Then add what we could call your reset ritual. It doesn't need to be fancy. You don't need to turn off all the lights and sit in lotus position. Just break the loop. Stand up and stretch your arms, open the window. Touch something cold with your palms, like a faucet or a mug. Breathe deeply, but with intention, as if each exhale was letting out a bit of that inner poison. Walk to the balcony and stay there for 5 minutes. Look at the sky. Observe what's happening inside you without judging it. And from there, from that small pocket of silence, you can decide again. You can take back the wheel before a fleeting emotion destroys what matters most to you. Remember this, your mindset is everything. And if you don't master your emotions, they'll make the decisions for you. And most of the time, you won't like the outcome. As Seneca said, to conquer your emotions is to conquer your life. Now tell me, when was the last time an emotion ruined your day? Share it in the comments. Or simply write, Stoic at heart. Today I learned to take control from within. 4. Embrace what you're meant to live. What if I told you that accepting when life runs you over isn't giving up? It's freeing yourself. Sounds contradictory, I know. But tell me this. How many times have you fought against reality as if it were a personal injustice? Something important gets canceled. The result isn't what you expected. Someone changes their mind. It rains on the very day you'd planned to go out. And there you are, angry, frustrated, feeling like the world is against you. And yes, I know, there are moments when it feels like everything is shaking, like life is pushing you and it's hard to stay on your feet. But my friend, that's exactly where the real challenge comes in. Accepting without surrendering, adapting without losing yourself. Like that bamboo that, in the middle of a typhoon, bends and sways with the wind, but doesn't break. On the contrary, it survives. Because it doesn't fight against the inevitable. It embraces it and waits for the moment to rise again. Marcus Aurelius knew this well when he wrote, "If something external distresses you, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your perception of it. And you can change that perception at any moment. There's no more powerful reminder that you are not trapped by what happens, but by how you choose to live it. And the best part is, that's entirely up to you." Picture this. You get an unexpected email, you've been fired just like that, and your first thought is, "This can't be happening, this is a nightmare." You freeze, your hands shake, you start mentally running through every bill, every plan, every commitment. Panic sets in. You want to find someone to blame, to understand why, but you can't. You're not in a state to think clearly. You've lost your calm, and with it, all your power. Because yes, when your mind loses order, everything else starts to fall apart. And that's exactly why I want to tell you the story of James Stockdale, a man who was a prisoner of war for years in Vietnam, subjected to torture, to the daily uncertainty of whether he'd ever see his family again. Do you know what kept him going? His decision to accept the situation without falling into victimhood, to not lose his dignity or inner strength, no matter how inhumane things got. He couldn't change what he had to live through, but he could change how he faced it. And that's what saved him. If he could do it in a prison cell, you can do it in an office, in a breakup, or in an unexpected change. So what can you do when everything starts shaking? Acceptance is not giving up. It's taking control from within. You don't need to understand everything or even like what happened. You just need to make room for it, without fighting reality. Try this simple exercise. Every morning, as soon as you wake up, make a quick mental list. Something like, "It might rain today, they could cancel that meeting. I might feel more tired than usual." This isn't pessimism. It's Stoic foresight. And then, for each one, imagine how you would respond without losing control. It's like preparing yourself emotionally so nothing catches you off guard. Then, every time something unexpected happens, quietly tell yourself, "All right, this is what's here." Those 5 words are like a shield. They bring you back to the present. And from there, focus only on the next action that depends entirely on you. Was it canceled? What can I do now? Is everything delayed? How can I reorganize my day? That small step is what gives you back your control. And finally, notice how, by doing this, the weight you were carrying starts to feel lighter. Not because the situation changed, but because you're no longer fighting it. You're walking with it. And that, believe me, gives you a kind of freedom very few people know. Calm isn't about living in a world without problems. It's about having a mind that doesn't get shaken with every change. That's true strength. That's the mindset that keeps you steady when everything around you moves. Accepting what comes your way is not surrendering. It's taking back control from a deeper place. Because when your mind stays calm even in the storm, my friend, nothing can defeat you. And you? Are you ready to stop fighting and start living with more strength? 5. Turn the blows into fuel. Imagine you're out at sea. The waves keep coming one after another, pushing you back. You're exhausted, frustrated, feeling like you're not moving forward. But suddenly, instead of fighting them, you adapt to their rhythm. You use each impact as a push, and without realizing it, you're closer to shore. That's exactly how life's blows work. They can drown you, or they can propel you forward. It all depends on what you do with them. And before you say this sounds too idealistic, think for a moment. How many times have you gone through something tough that later made you stronger, clearer, more yourself? It wasn't pretty, or easy, but it was fuel. And that's exactly what you need if you want to keep your calm and your confidence, even in the middle of chaos, so that nothing and no one can shake you inside. Seneca put it plainly in a powerful phrase: difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. In other words, every blow you thought would break you in two was actually building your backbone. But of course, this only works if you learn to see those difficulties as training. And here's the key question: are you doing that? Because often it's not the blow that hurts most. It's how you interpret it. If you believe something bad means you're not good enough, you sink. But if you see it as a challenge forcing you to level up, your mindset changes. And that's where your true strength begins. Picture this: you're working on a big project, days of effort, sleepless nights. And just 1 week before delivery, the client cancels. Goodbye to your work, goodbye to the money. Worst of all, you feel it was all for nothing. That night you can't sleep. Your stomach's in knots. Anger, disappointment. But the next day, something shifts. You decide to learn a new skill so you can offer something different. You start small, taking on minor projects. One of those clients recommends you, and that unexpected turn, born from the blow, becomes your takeoff. No, it wasn't magic. It was choice. It was mindset. Now let's get practical, because this isn't just about inspiration. It's about movement. First, when you take a hit, bad news, rejection, disappointment, pause for a second. Breathe and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What skill is life asking me to develop? Sometimes the answer won't come right away, but simply asking the question already changes your stance. Second, write down one action. Not something huge, something small, manageable. Can you read 10 pages of that book you've been putting off? Send that email you've been avoiding? Try a new strategy? Do it today. Because when you act, you stop being the victim of the blow and become the author of your response. Third, celebrate. Even if it's just one step. Even if all you did was get out of bed when it was hard. Even if you simply held yourself together without snapping. Celebrate the fact that you didn't let yourself be dragged under. Because that attitude is what feeds your confidence and strengthens your inner calm. Exactly what you need so that, no matter what happens, you don't lose control of your inner world. And if you ever feel like you can't take it anymore, that a blow has left you without strength or direction, hear this. In one episode of Rob Dial's podcast, he says something that stuck with me. That every time life knocks you to the ground, it's giving you a new perspective. And from down there you can see things you'd never notice standing up. So when you're in that place, put on your headphones and listen to one of those episodes. It won't fill you with empty slogans, but with concrete ideas to get back up stronger. Sometimes, you just need someone to remind you that this blow, if you use it well, can be your best push forward. My friend, I'll leave you with this thought. What's the most recent blow you could turn into fuel? Think about it. Because maybe, right there, in what hurts now, is your next big opportunity. Share it in the comments. And if you feel this message connected with you, write, "Today I turn my blows into fuel." Because recognizing the hit, taking a deep breath and moving forward with determination is for the brave, and you've already proven you can be one. 6. Why do you let others decide your worth? How many times has an offhand comment made you feel smaller than an ant on a dance floor? It can be something as simple as a coworker saying, "Wow, you've really got a Monday face today," and suddenly you spend the rest of the day feeling tired, even if you woke up full of energy. Or a friend joking, "That shirt is original," and now you don't feel comfortable wearing it. It's as if their opinion had a direct button to lower your self-esteem. And the strange thing is, many times, that person didn't even mean it badly. It's happened to you, I'm sure. You hand over a power others should never have. The power to decide how you feel about yourself. And that's where the ideas of an old friend come in, Epictetus, who said, "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about those things." Think about it. It's not the comment, not the meme, not the strange look. It's the meaning you attach to it that makes you feel one way or another. You're the one giving it the label, and with it, the emotional weight. Picture this. Someone posts a meme in your work WhatsApp group making fun of your idea from the last meeting. There's an awkward silence. Everyone's reading, waiting for your reaction. You could get angry, go on the defensive, or just stay quiet and swallow the frustration. Or you could reply, "That's right. We'll try a different approach. Maybe we'll hit the jackpot with the next idea." You say it calmly, smiling. You don't just disarm the jab. You send a silent message. You're not defined by jokes or criticism. My friend, the next time someone tries to slap a label on you, ask yourself if you're going to let it stick or tear it off right away. Your worth doesn't come from their opinion. It comes from how you choose to see yourself. And holding on to that confidence, that inner security, is what makes you unshakable. There are simple ways to train this, but you have to be consistent. Here's one. Start the day with a phrase that reminds you who you are before the world tries to tell you. Something like, "I'm here, I'm enough, and nothing is going to move me today." Don't say it like you're reading instructions. Say it with intention, standing tall, as if you were putting on invisible armor. Another key, celebrate every small win. Yes, even sending that email you've been putting off for weeks. Pause, breathe, and tell yourself, "I did it. I'm stronger than before." It might sound simple, but your mind registers it as proof that you're capable. And proof collected day after day builds a foundation no one can tear down. Here's the most powerful part. Define your anchor beliefs. Write down those truths about yourself that won't change even if everything around you shakes. It could be, "I have the resources to move forward," or "My worth doesn't depend on anyone's applause." Do it before the storm hits, so that when the wind blows, you're not improvising who you are. Practice this one day, then two, then a week. And before you know it, you'll be moving through life with a calm and confidence that aren't up for negotiation. Comments will pass, jokes will pass, but you'll still be the same, steady and calm, like a rock in the middle of the waves. So tell me, are you going to keep letting others decide your worth? Or starting today, will you take the reins? If it's the latter, write it in the comments. Today, I decide my worth and no one changes it. 7. Do what's right, not what's easy. Picture this. You're sitting in a meeting. The air is tense. The boss asks an uncomfortable question and everyone looks around, waiting for someone else to speak. Suddenly, you see the perfect opportunity to drop a comment that would make a colleague look bad and make you look good. You can feel it right there, almost on the tip of your tongue. That quick impulse saying, "Do it, take the chance." But at the same time, another voice inside you reminds you, that's not who you are, that it's not worth betraying yourself for a moment of applause. You choose to stay silent or even defend that person. And here's the thing, in the end, you don't just earn respect, you also go home with the peace of having done the right thing. Tell me, how many times have you done what your impulses told you, only to regret it later? Probably more times than you'd like. It's like eating that whole pizza at 3 in the morning. Instant pleasure, guaranteed chaos the next day. And I'm not just talking about the indigestion. It happens with words we say, decisions we make, actions we know don't align with who we are. In the moment, it feels like a good idea, but afterward, they take away our peace. My friend, doing the right thing is like planting a tree. At first, you may not see results. It might even feel hard. But over time, that tree gives you shade, fruit, and a place you can always return to. Marcus Aurelius summed it up in a phrase that still hits hard. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. He didn't live in an easy world. He faced political pressures, wars, betrayals, but he understood that his real strength didn't come from winning every external battle, but from not losing the internal one. And that's the point. If you want nothing and no one to shake your mind, you have to trust yourself. And the best way to trust yourself is to know you always choose what's right, even when it's hard. This reminds me of Viktor Frankl, psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor. He lost everything: family, home, freedom. But he didn't lose his dignity. He said that even in the camps, there were two kinds of people: those who let circumstances dictate their behavior, and those who, even in the middle of horror, chose small acts of humanity, sharing a piece of bread, comforting another prisoner, refusing to steal clothes from someone weaker. Frankl said the last human freedom is to choose our attitude. And that choice, my friend, is what keeps you whole. Because when you do what's right, even if no one sees it, even if no one applauds, you send yourself a message: I can trust me. And that creates a kind of calm that's very different from the one given by circumstances. It's a calm that doesn't depend on whether the day is sunny or pouring rain. It depends only on you. So next time temptation whispers, "Do it now," you'll already have practiced, and you'll be able to keep your calm and your confidence intact. First, define your non-negotiable values. Write them down. Keep them close. Don't let them just float around as vague ideas in your head. If you know that integrity, honesty, or loyalty are your foundation, it'll be much harder for a single situation to pull you off track. Then, when you feel that push to act quickly, count to 10. And don't do it like reciting a recipe. Use that time to picture how you'll feel afterward if you follow your values, and how you'll feel if you break them. That image will help you decide. Finally, acknowledge every time you choose what's right, even if it's uncomfortable. Yes, celebrate it. It can be a quick thought: I did it, I stayed true. That recognition strengthens your trust in yourself, and trust is the foundation of your calm. Doing what's right won't always give you the fastest way out, but it will always give you the most lasting peace. And that peace is worth more than any short-term victory. So if you face a hard decision today, remember, your calm and your confidence are not up for negotiation. 8. Train your mind every day. Be honest, how many hours do you dedicate to your body, and how many to your mind? You go to the gym, stretch, watch what you eat. But your mind, my friend, do you train it? Because if you don't be surprised when, in the moment you most need calm and confidence, it collapses like a sandcastle. Your mind is like a young, energetic dog. If you don't train it, it will run in every direction, pull at the leash, and tear up everything it finds. And no, it doesn't do it because it's bad. It does it because no one has taught it to focus, to stay still, to follow direction. The same goes for your thoughts. If you don't train them, they'll drag you exactly when you most need to control them. Picture this. You decide to meditate for 5 minutes. You sit down, breathe, and 30 seconds later, you're thinking about that email you need to send, what you're going to eat, whether you should reply to that message. That's your inner dog pulling on the leash. The next day, you try again. At 40 seconds, your mind slips away again. But little by little, without even realizing it, the day comes when you make it through the full 5 minutes anchored in your breath. And then, when a tense situation comes along in real life, you discover you can hold on to your calm without being swept away by your thoughts. You know what Epictetus would tell you at that moment? No great thing is created suddenly. Mental strength isn't a talent you're born with. It's a daily practice. It's like lifting weights. It's not about one giant lift on a single day. It's about training a little every day until that strength becomes part of you. The Stoics understood this. If you wanted to stay firm in the face of insults, losses, or fears, you had to practice calm every single day, not just when problems showed up. And today, science says the same. Andrew Huberman, neuroscientist and educator, explains that daily repetition literally shapes your brain. Do you think your brain is like a stone that never changes? Not at all. It has an incredible ability to adapt and get stronger. And here's the interesting part. You don't need to spend hours training it. Small but consistent routines can make it more resilient. Just like your body needs movement to stay strong, your mind needs its own exercise if you want it to withstand any storm. Here's where you decide what training to give it. Start small. Each morning, Read 2 pages of a book that inspires you. It doesn't matter if it's just 2. What matters is that you're training your mind to start the day with something that nourishes you, not something that drains you. Then, spend 5 minutes writing how you feel and what you learned from the day before. That simple habit helps you organize your thoughts, see patterns, and notice what robs you of calm and what gives it back. And before bed, instead of losing an hour scrolling through social media, put on a podcast that makes you think better, or an audio meditation that lets you end the day in peace. At first, you might feel like nothing's happening, that it's too little. But it's just like physical training. In the first weeks, you don't notice changes, until one day you realize you lift more weight, run faster, or last longer without getting tired. It's the same with your mind. And here's a key detail. Every time you train your mind, even for just a few minutes, you're building your confidence. Because when the hard moment comes, you know you have tools. You know you can keep calm without losing control. Training your mind isn't a luxury. It's your life insurance for when the world turns upside down. If you don't do it, you'll depend on everything going well to feel at peace. If you do it, you'll be the one deciding how you feel, even if everything around you is chaos. And believe me, that feeling of knowing you can trust your mind is priceless. So ask yourself, will you keep letting your inner dog drag you around, or will you teach it to walk by your side? Because the difference between getting lost in chaos or staying calm comes from what you do today, not tomorrow. A trained mind doesn't break. Every day you practice, you get closer to being unshakable. And that's the kind of strength no one can take from you. And if you feel your mind still gets pulled around by every noise, every message, every opinion, it's time to watch that other video you see on the screen. It will show you how to reinforce your calm even more, until nothing and no one can move it. And who knows, and maybe that's where you'll start to truly notice your change. 9. Live like you have no time to waste. My friend, what I'm about to say is a little harsh but necessary. Imagine someone tells you you only have 1 day left. Exactly 24 hours, not a minute more. Would you really stay angry over that message you didn't get a reply to? Would you keep replaying that silly argument you had yesterday? Of course not. Because in that moment, everything that steals your calm and confidence becomes ridiculous. And yet, you live as if your days were endless. As if there will always be a tomorrow to fix things or truly start. How many days do you think you have left? Really, it's not that many. To make it clear, I'll tell you what Tim Urban did. He illustrated life with a sheet full of little boxes. Each box represents a day of your life, from birth until, theoretically, death. Yes, no one knows the exact day, but let's assume it's many years. Can you imagine that sheet? You can even create it yourself. When you see it, I'm sure the first thing you think is, wow, that's not a lot. The problem is we think we have tons of boxes ahead, but we cross them off rapidly with nonsense that leads nowhere. And watch out. Every time you lose your calm over something that doesn't matter, you don't just erase a box. You erase a day you could have lived in peace and purpose. Seneca understood this very well. In his work on the shortness of life, he wrote, "It is not that we have little time, but that we waste much." He wasn't trying to scare you. He wanted to wake you up, to make you realize that your energy, your mental peace, and your confidence are as valuable as time, and they fade just as fast if you don't take care of them. The Stoic didn't waste his days on useless arguments or chasing approval. He knew the clock doesn't stop, and every day lived with calm and focus is a day won. Think about it. You spend half an hour doubting whether to send an email, 2 hours on TikTok watching recipes you'll never cook, and you postpone calling your mom because, "I'll call her tomorrow." Then you say you don't have time for yourself. But no, the problem isn't time. It's what you spend it on, and how you let emotions and reactions you don't control drain it from you. So, my friend, if you don't want to reach the end and realize you've spent most of your days on things you don't even remember, start today. Ask yourself the uncomfortable question, what can I do right now to truly live? First, eliminate one thing you know doesn't add anything to your life. That endless scrolling, that series you don't even like but keep watching anyway, that habit of checking your phone every 2 minutes. Remove a time thief from your day, and you'll see how you regain space for what really matters. Second, dedicate a little time each day to something that brings you closer to who you want to be. It doesn't have to be a full hour. It can be 10 minutes of reading, a short walk to clear your thoughts, writing 2 lines about what you learned today. It may seem small, but it adds up. And best of all, it gives you the feeling that you're steering your life. Third, say what you need to say to the people you love. Today, not tomorrow, because tomorrow might not come. Call, send that message, make that visit. Don't save your words for a special moment. The special moment is now. And when you do, you free yourself from burdens that, without you realizing it, steal your peace and mental clarity. In the end, living like you have no time to waste doesn't mean rushing around. It means choosing carefully where you put your attention and energy. It means not letting a silly argument or repetitive thought steal an entire day from you. Because every time you choose calm over reaction and purpose over distraction, you gain a day that counts. And when you add up many days like that, you become someone nothing and no one can shake from the inside. 10. Silence. The trick no one tells you. When was the last time you were truly silent? And no, I'm not talking about when you're on the subway not talking to anyone. I mean a real moment of calm, no phone, no music, no background noise. Just you, breathing, listening to the sound of your own thoughts. Can you remember? If you have to think hard, it's been too long. And the funny thing is, we don't realize how much the noise affects us until we turn it off. This will sound familiar. Saturday morning, you turn on the TV while checking social media, reply to a couple of messages, put on some music, and by 11, without having done anything really important, you already feel drained. Then you wonder why you're out of energy and your head is racing. The problem isn't the day, it's that you don't give your mind a moment to breathe. Imagine a glass of water. If you shake it non-stop, everything gets cloudy. You can't see the bottom, nothing is clear. But if you let it sit still, slowly, everything settles and the water clears up. Well, my friend, your mind works the same way. When you're surrounded by notifications, conversations, and constant noise, you can't see what's inside. Only when you stop can you see clearly what you really think and feel. Marcus Aurelius knew this well. In his meditations, he wrote something that, if you read it slowly, changes how you see everything. Men seek retreats for themselves, houses in the country, by the sea, in the mountains. You too desire these things with great force, but they are for the most common. It is within your power whenever you want to retire into yourself. He wasn't talking about physical escape, but about withdrawing to a more valuable place, your inner silence, that space where nothing and no one can disturb what you feel. And you know what? Modern science agrees. Cal Newport, author of Deep Work, explains that silence and digital disconnection aren't luxuries, but necessary conditions to think clearly. When you reduce noise, your brain stops reacting to every stimulus and starts generating its own ideas. And no, you don't need to go on a spiritual retreat. It's enough to decide to disconnect, even if just for a few minutes. Even the greats practice silence to maintain calm. Ryan Holiday has silence built into his routine like brushing his teeth. He spends hours working without interruptions. He's not checking his phone every 2 minutes or filling quiet moments with music or videos. He purposely seeks out those quiet times because he knows that's when his mind gets organized. And he calls it what it is, an act of power, choosing to be silent when everything around you screams for your attention. Next time your mind feels chaotic, trust me, and try this. Start by turning off all notifications for half an hour. Don't look at your phone, don't play music. Just observe what's happening inside you. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. Your head will look for noise to fill the space. But that's exactly the sign you need it. Then, find a place where you can be alone. It doesn't matter if it's your room, an empty park, or even your parked car. Stay there a few minutes longer than you want. Because in that extra time is when your mind starts to settle, like the glass of water. And when it does, The calm you feel is different. It's not something that depends on everything being perfect outside. It comes from within. Silence, my friend, isn't the absence of sound. It's the presence of clarity. It's that moment when you take back control of what you think and feel. And when you learn to enter that space every day, even for a few minutes, you become harder to shake. Because while others react to every noise in the world, you decide when to open the door and when to close it. And that, believe me, is one of the purest ways to keep your calm and confidence intact. Now, tell us, what's your ritual for finding silence in the middle of chaos? Inspire others in the community to discover theirs. And if you don't have one, write in the comments. Today, I'll dedicate a few minutes to silence, and we'll see how we all start together. 11. Surround yourself with people who add, not subtract. Think about this for a moment. You're at work, and that colleague who always sees the negative starts their usual speech that nothing is worth it. You go for coffee with that friend who, every time you talk, reminds you of your mistakes and makes you feel like you'll never achieve anything. Or you get home, and someone close makes comments that sound like jokes, but leave you with a bitter feeling. Meanwhile, you wonder why lately your confidence feels shaky and keeping calm has become harder. Now reflect. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Because believe it or not, you're becoming like them. It's like letting your phone charge with a broken cable. Instead of gaining energy, it drains you little by little. And you don't even notice until one day you have no battery left for anything. Seneca made it clear. Associate with those who can improve you. Whoever is with you is with you. It's not just a nice phrase. It's a warning. Your company shapes your character, your thoughts, and even your ability to stay strong when everything gets tough. I realized what Seneca said firsthand. There was a moment when I changed my habits, started caring for my mind, and sought growth. Then I looked around, and the pieces didn't fit. The 5 people I spent the most time with were like this. 2 undermined my confidence and made me feel small. Another complained about everything. 1 was so comfortable in their comfort zone that any change scared them. And the last one lived in eternal victimhood. I wanted to move forward, discover opportunities, strengthen my mind, but I was stuck. Every time I was with them, I left drained, feeling like everything was harder than it really was. And I'm not the only one. Oprah Winfrey shared that something similar happened to her. She understood that her success wasn't just from talent or hard work, but from surrounding herself with people who pushed her to grow. She cut off relationships that drained her, even when they were close or meant a lot in the past, because she understood that to stay strong and confident, she had to protect her space. So, my friend, want to find out if the people around you add to your life or subtract? Let's check right now. First, take a snapshot of your environment. Don't put it off, do it right now. Grab paper and pen. Yes, really. And write down the names of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It doesn't matter if they're family, friends, co-workers, or someone you chat with daily. Now, next to each name, put a simple arrow up or down. Up, if after spending time with that person you feel more energized, motivated, with new ideas, or more calm. Down if instead you leave drained, doubtful, anxious, or feeling your confidence shrinks a little more. Then, look at the pattern. If more than half those arrows point down, there's your reason why lately it's been hard to keep calm and confident. It's like trying to run a marathon with a backpack full of stones. No matter how hard you try, the extra weight slows you down. Next, mark in another color the people you truly want to keep close. And think about how you can spend more time with them. Maybe it's a weekly coffee, a quick call to share good news, or even collaborating on a project together. You don't need grand gestures, just more moments that recharge you. Well done. Now comes the hard part, reducing time with those who subtract. It's not about disappearing from their lives overnight, but about protecting yours. Start by cutting short conversations that always end in complaints or criticism. Don't get into unnecessary arguments. And find healthy excuses to prioritize other activities that do add to you. Finally, commit to being someone who adds too. Ask yourself what you bring when someone spends time with you. Do you leave them feeling more alive or less? Because change doesn't start only with what you remove. It starts with what you offer. Because in the end, your ability to keep calm and trust yourself also depends on who walks beside you. If you surround yourself with people who believe in you, inspire you, and push you forward, you'll have an invisible shield against anything trying to shake your mind. The question is, are you willing to make that cleanup and keep only those who add? And if everything we've seen so far has helped you recover your calm and confidence, wait, because what's coming next is the piece that can hold it all together. Because there's no point in learning to stand firm if you then let certain people dim your light. That, perhaps, is the most decisive factor to shield your mind and inner peace. 12. Be the one who stands when everything falls. They say ice doesn't forgive. And in 1915, a group of men found out the hardest way possible. In the middle of Antarctica, an endless sea of ice and a wind that cuts the skin like blades. The ship Endurance was trapped, imprisoned between sheets of ice slowly crushing it. Ernest Shackleton, the captain, watches his crew. Fear starts to set in. Some shout, others shut down in silence. The cold is unbearable, and supplies won't last forever. Any inexperienced leader would have broken right there. But Shackleton didn't. He walks among his men, speaks calmly, transmits confidence. No false promises, only a firm message. We will all get out of this together. For months, guided by that unbreakable calm, they survive until rescue arrives. I tell you this because it's a brutal reminder of what happens when, even in disaster, you choose to stay calm. It's not magic, it's leadership. It's like being a lighthouse in the middle of a storm. You can't stop the waves, but you can guide those around you with your light, even when the night is darkest. Marcus Aurelius wrote something that could have been in Shackleton's mind. Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but that stands firm and tames the fury of the surrounding water. See? He wasn't talking about coldness, but about a strength that doesn't get swept away by the current. True strength doesn't show on calm days, but in those moments when everything seems lost, and yet you remain standing. Now bring that to your life. Think about your work. A problem hits suddenly. An angry client, an impossible deadline, a call that changes everything. The rest start to run, raise their voices, panic mode kicks in. And you, what do? If you're the one who takes a deep breath, lowers your voice, observes before acting, you're the one who sees solutions where others see only chaos. And believe me, in those moments, everyone looks to you, even if they don't say it. Here comes the challenge. Next time you find yourself in the middle of a whirlwind like that, ask yourself, do I want to be dragged away, or do I want to be the one holding steady? Because keeping calm isn't passivity, it's strategy. Start with a simple gesture. Quietly remind yourself, like a mental anchor, I am not the chaos, I am the calm. It may seem small, but it changes your posture, your gaze, your breathing. Then, act slowly and with intention. The one who rushes stumbles. The one who measures each step advances. And finally, trust that the storm will pass. It always does. But if you've managed to resist, you'll come out stronger, with your head held high and the respect of those around you. My friend, this is the moment you decide what role you'll play in the story. You can be just another person who shouts and gets swept away. Or you can be the one who, even when everything falls, stands firm. Because in life, you won't always control what happens outside, but you can always decide how strong you stand inside. And there, in that space of calm no one can touch, is where you truly win. Keeping calm and trusting yourself is what truly allows you to move forward without anything or anyone shaking your mind. Every day is a test, and at the same time, an opportunity to prove to yourself that you can stand firm. It's not about the world becoming easier, but about you becoming strong enough to get through any storm. Because true strength isn't in avoiding the blows, it's in staying standing after you take them. If you've made it this far, write in the comments, I stand firm even when everything shakes. That way, I'll know who the true Stoic warriors are, the ones who made it all the way to the end. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button so you don't miss what's coming next. Also, check the description box. We've left some resources there to help you dive deeper into Stoic teachings. Our goal is to bring you as much value as possible. And if at any point you feel like supporting us so we can keep creating this kind of content, you'll find how to do that in the pinned comment. Now, I invite you to explore the playlist on screen. It's designed to help you face life with greater wisdom and confidence. Click it, and let's keep growing together. Until the next talk, take care and keep embracing your inner Stoic.